It's often in the quietest moments, the ones steeped in grief, that we place our deepest trust in others. When a family loses a child, they turn to professionals, compassion, dignity, a solemn adherence to protocol. They are vulnerable, navigating a fog of sorrow. In Leeds, however, this very trust was shattered. The story begins not in a sterile mortuary, but behind the ordinary door of a funeral director's home. A mother, Zoe Ward, went to see her deceased infant son, Blur. She was directed to the home of her chosen funeral director, Amy Upton. Inside, she claimed she found her baby Blur, sitting in a bouncer in the living room with a cartoon playing on the television. The sheer domesticity of the scene created a jarring and unforgettable image. Another couple who had suffered a stillbirth shared a similarly distressing experience. They were allegedly told their daughter was at her house 5 miles away. They stated they never gave consent for this. Amy Upton has disputed the specifics, calling the claims ridiculous. She denied using a baby bouncer, saying it was a laid-down chair used temporarily. She defended keeping the babies at her home, saying she was here all the time. For the parents, these explanations did little to soothe the sense of wrongness they felt. As news of the allegations spread through Leeds, and then across the country, the public reaction was collective shock and outrage. For many, the idea that a deceased infant could be placed in a bouncer to watch cartoons was incomprehensible. The Leeds Teaching Hospitals Trust made a swift and decisive move. It removed Amy Upton and her service from its mortuaries and maternity wards, effectively cutting off a primary source of her work with deceased infants. West Yorkshire Police launched a formal investigation. Detectives examined the evidence and spoke with those involved. The community watched closely, many assuming such circumstances must be a crime. But the investigation's outcome surprised many. No potential crimes were identified. This left people confused and frustrated. How could something so morally wrong not be actionable? The police finding pointed to a larger systemic issue. The Leeds scandal threw a harsh spotlight on a reality largely unknown to the public. The UK funeral industry is one of the few major sectors that remains almost entirely unregulated by law. There are no legal requirements for someone to become a funeral director. You do not need specific qualifications. You do not need training. In theory, anyone can set themselves up as a funeral director, regardless of experience. There are no legally mandated rules about how or where bodies should be stored. There are professional trade bodies, but membership is voluntary. Those organizations have codes of practice, which members may follow. But membership is optional, and without mandatory inspection, standards can vary dramatically. The government has acknowledged concerns and is considering options to improve standards. The heart of this affair is a fundamental question of dignity. What do we believe is the appropriate way to care for our dead? Each incident chips away at public confidence and underscores the need for reform. Proposed measures, mandatory inspections, legal requirements for storage, compulsory qualifications. This would transform the industry from one based on faith to one based on enforceable rights. For families in Leeds, the experience made clear the cost of inaction. Let us know your thoughts about this. Leave a comment below.